Australia's Prime Minister, the worst fire disaster in the country's history, could go on for months. Apocalyptic scenes. The inferno is now forcing the largest peacetime evacuation ever. For the first time, the country calling up 3,000 military reserves to battle the raging wildfires.
We cannot guarantee your safety at present.
At least 24 people have been killed. An estimated 500 million animals have also died, including many of the country's iconic koalas and kangaroos.
Emerging from burning bushland, this tiny fire victim west of Wauchope. Scared and confused, he ran into the fire, which had jumped the Oxley Highway. A certain casualty if it wasn't for Tony Doherty, a grandmother of 7 who put her own safety aside following him in. Using the shirt from her back and bottles of water to douse the koala, his fur on fire. They bundled him in a doona, heading for Port Macquarie Hospital. Staff back with the little man she's named Lewis, after one of her grandkids.
Good boy. I really hope you feel better.
Lewis is badly burnt. Overnight he was given a lot of fluids, his paws carefully wrapped in bandages, and today he managed to have a munch on some eucalyptus leaves. Tony says she didn't think twice when she saw him in trouble.
No?
A possum sits water from a bowl. It's a welcome spot of relief. After all, this marsupial has been through.
All 4 paws are burnt. Her nose has been burnt. Her ears are both burnt.
The possum is native to Australia. Brush fires have ravaged the continent since September. Nearly 10 million acres have been destroyed. The fires have ruined hundreds of homes and have claimed the lives of at least a dozen people. People sheltered on a beach near Sydney as the flames crept dangerously close. Some people even stood in the water. But those paying the heaviest toll may be the wildlife. Ecologists from the University of Sydney say nearly 500 million animals have perished in the fires. There are fears some species may now be extinct. This animal rescuer outside of Sydney fears that many animals in her area have been wiped out.
We're not getting that many animals coming into care, so our concern is that they don't come into care because they're not there anymore, basically. Areas like Clarence, Bell, Blackheath, Mount Vic were just decimated. The fires just ripped through there so quickly. Birds could get away, so the birds are still around, but things like possums, kangaroos, wallabies, wombats, echidnas, all of them, we're just not getting the call out, so I don't know.
Across the country, similar scenes play out, animals in distress. Here, a firefighter in South Australia gives a koala a needed swig from a water bottle.
Very thirsty boy.
Poor little thing.
Not far away, cyclists help hydrate another koala.
Never seen anything like it.
I haven't either. We've seen plenty of them. Oh, look at you.
And then there's that possum. Turns out she isn't just fighting for herself.
Once I got her into the vet, it took 2 of us to hold it down in order to have a look in the pouch, and once we got the pouch open, a tiny little hand came out with claws on it. So yeah, there's a pinky in there, very little baby unfurred possum. So she's a ferocious mother who has clearly done her best for Bub.
That is genuinely.
Very thirsty boy.
Poor little thing. Oops, sorry. Oh, he's trying to lick my glove.
Never seen anything like it.
I haven't either. We've seen plenty of them. Oh, look at you. Has anyone got any more? He's so thirsty.
We have to manage around the fire itself, and that will take consultation with Rural Fire Service, National Parks, roundtable discussions to come up with plans so that we can actually manage this threat. Because although we've got a lot of other threats, you know, we've got diseases and dogs, and it's the same. It hasn't been the front of my mind because we've been dealing with all these other threats for koalas. But when these fires come through at this scale, you know, these other threats are minuscule in comparison to the impact it's having on a lot of these populations. But also the fact that we're depending on volunteer firefighters to fight fires of this scale, I think we really need to resource, for example, retained employees within the Rural Fire Service who are there. That comes back to the back, not just the back burning, but the prescribed burning. So we've got a shorter and shorter season where Rural Fire Service and parks can carry out prescribed burns to prevent fires of this scale. And so a lot